I'm just like obsessed with it. We're gonna do another one. Announcements! And I hate miscommunication plots. Hello there guys, this is Christie from Dostoevsky in Space, and today I'm here with my December wrap-up and my January TBR. A lot of the stuff that I read and watched and consumed this month was relaxing stuff. It wasn't really heavy-duty stuff, which is, you know, okay for December, right? It was such a planning month for me. I was like trying to plan out my entire year, and I was trying to like catch up on people's booktube videos, which I still haven't completely done, but it was a great month. I really enjoyed this month, but yeah, not my best for reading. So first, I did finish 101 Dalmatians this month. I actually started this back in October for the Boo to You readathon, and I really just loved that. And I hadn't quite finished it by the time I filmed my last wrap-up. So here we are, I have finally finished it. I listened to it on audiobook as I was going to sleep every night, and it was wonderful. In this story, we are following Pongo and his wife, the Mrs., not Perdita. Perdita is a different dog that comes in as a nursemaid for the puppies. So there's a few things like that that are in the book that aren't in the movie. And so the three of them are living very happily with the puppies and the dearlies, and then Cruella de Vil comes along, and as you can guess, things go downhill from there for everybody involved. Darling, perfect, everything that I wanted, easy to follow on audiobook, perfect to fall asleep at night. I'm gonna give it an A-. There was a bit of annoying humor about the missus that was just kind of condescending and annoyed me, but overall, it just really was so wonderful that I didn't actually care that much. I also spent a good portion of the month reading Guards by Terry Pratchett. I was reading this because of Alan's Discord. Alan of Alexandria loves the Terry Pratchett books, so I thought, you know what? He's convinced half of his Discord to try Guards. So I kind of want to be in on that. So I finally gave it a try. I did enjoy it. A good bookshop is just a genteel black hole that knows how to read. There's just so much clever wordplay in this series. That's, I think, really what it's known for is the humor. But there's also a plot. It was amazing. There's a plot and there's some great characters. So let's get into it a little bit. This is all about the guards that guard the city of Ankh-Morpork. And it's about a young man who was raised with dwarves who comes to be a part of the guards, and he's getting there just in time for a dragon to appear and start causing havoc in the city. There's lots of dragoning in this book. One of my favorite characters is nuts about dragons. Wait, this lady, I think Sybil, I don't remember, but she was funny, man. And the young man raised by dwarves, very endearing hero. I really enjoyed him. Essentially, Guards, it's like if you've read The Tough Guide to Fantasyland by Diana Wynne Jones, it's literally like a handbook of entries laying out all the fantasy tropes. It's very funny. However, there is no plot. And Guards does like almost the exact same thing. It lays out all these fantasy tropes, and like it includes so much cultural humor, and the wordplay is just brilliant. It was really a good time. And he's so intentional about every choice that he makes in this book, and normally that's something that I just go mad for, that kind of thing. I did, however, lack a certain connection to this book, and I know that because in the Discord people were talking about how this should be like an easy, fun, quick read. I was finding myself struggling to get into it. Even though I appreciated it a lot, there was just some element there that I was not finding that I need in my books to be like wholly engrossed and to be like eager to come back and read it. And unfortunately, it was starting to feel like work as I was reading it. And it took me like a couple weeks to get through a book that really shouldn't take that long. I just think that this is probably not the kind of book for me, but I still think it was really smart. And I can see why so many people really enjoyed it. This is the kind of book where you want to linger over every word and catch every joke that's in there, every reference. And it's probably impossible to catch them all, but it's really like a pleasure to read. But I really just needed something easy this month, I think. I just couldn't focus on it very well. I think having an audiobook might have helped because I listen to audiobooks and read at the same time, like a lot, and there was no audiobook available for Guards. Also, a lot of times, if a book is going to be like, I need to sit down and digest every single word, like this book, I want it to be very character focused or focused on a moral argument, and there were great characters and there were moral arguments in this book, but it's not like he was belaboring every little point of those two aspects, like say, you know, Dostoevsky. Usually when I go to pick up fantasy, I'm usually there for like, which which is probably why I've read a lot more young adult fantasy than adult fantasy, or like kind of the classic-y fantasies, like Name of the Wind and stuff like that. Okay, let's talk about One Piece. I read volume 2 this month, and this is the kind of relaxing reads that I need right now for bedtime. I just need something super easy and fun and wacky, and that is exactly what this is. This is about Luffy, that guy, who would like to be a pirate. That's like his life's dream. A good kind of pirate, not the kind that goes around pillaging the villagers. The kind of pirate who like seeks out lost treasure and steals from pirates, let's say, and has a really good crew of good friends. Questionable life goals, I know. This one was really fun. It involved a bunch of like clown villains and a very charming puppy. And the author continues on with the showing us how to draw. I love that he's so transparent in showing us like his rough sketches. Like there's, see the lion there? This is a super rough sketch that shows how he lays out the page of the manga. Very action heavy, but easy to follow. That's just what I needed right now. I just can't stop laughing when I read them. I absolutely love One Piece. I also finished Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. And this is about Jim Hawkins, who lives with his mother. They run an inn, and these pirates keep coming in and kind of ruining business. And he ends up going off on an adventure with the pirates, specifically a pirate named Long John Silver. There are some really gripping moments in this book, and then there are some moments where I was kind of like, didn't follow that super well. And that's partly because I was listening on audiobook and I was like falling asleep while listening to it, like on purpose. That was the purpose of me reading this book for Victober and Booty You Readathon. Yes, it actually took me that long to finish that one as well. I was alternating between that one and Dalmatians. I'm really glad that I reread this because it was a childhood favorite of mine, and I think if I was probably sitting and reading it, I would have even rated it like pretty highly. I just didn't follow it that well on audiobook, but I did enjoy it. It was a good story. I've also been working on some Russian short stories this month, of course, for the Very Russian Christmas. I haven't actually, I don't think, finished any of them this month. I read most of them last month, and I literally had 2 to do this month. And I was really struggling to get into the Gogol story, which is pretty long, but I was really loving it too. It was kind of like the guards thing where I was just, this tells me that I'm part of the problem here. I was not able to focus my mind very well. However, the Gogol story, the satire is so rich and the characters are just so, I really love it. And now that the plot's going, I'm very engrossed. This might be my favorite story so far of all the Very Russian stories, and that's saying something because we read 2 from Dostoevsky. It's got a devil, it's got a witch, it's got all these funky characters. I can't wait to read more. I can't wait till next year. I'm reading Dead Souls with Codex Cantina. I think Gogol could potentially be a favorite author of mine. I just have to read more. I have to read like all of his stuff. I have not even started Vanka yet by Checkov. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I do need to read that one because we have a live show coming up, and also I owe you guys a vlog. So hopefully I'll get to that soon. I'm planning on finishing the Gogol story tonight. Oh my gosh, it's so late. It's already 5:17 and we're supposed to go shopping. Yikes. I also read the books of Genesis and Exodus and the Bible this month. I sort of restarted reading a plan that's like a couple chapters a day, and I've been really enjoying doing that. I really enjoyed Genesis and all the stories in Genesis. Genesis kind of tells about like the foundation of the world and how Abraham became the forefather of the nation of Israel. I just love it. All the stories are so great. I got so much out of it, and I'm reading like a companion to that. I also read Exodus, which is about Israel in Egypt and the covenant that they made with God, which is like one of several covenants that humans made with God. There's a couple different ones in Genesis as well. This time around, I really was struggling with Exodus.
My focus this month, it just sucked.
Oh, I read Hercule Poirot's Christmas with Melanie Frenchy Reader. Oh, wait, before I do that, before I tell you about that, I need to tell you, the Codex Cantina and Leslie and I all did a live stream on my channel. I'll have that link down below or up here somewhere. We're gonna do another one. Announcements! We're doing another one on January 7th because that is the end of the Russian Christmas celebrations. So we just decided, hey, let's do another one to wrap up the rest of the stories. January 7th, 4:30 PST my time. Anyways, back to Hercule Poirot's Christmas. I loved this. I listened to a lot of it and I read some of it. This is a mystery where Hercule Poirot doesn't come in until like halfway through. We're following a bunch of people in this one family. There's like 4 brothers in the family and their wives, and there's this old man, their father, and there's some tensions in this family, and somebody ends up murdered, and it could have been anybody in the family, and I thought it was brilliant. I, of course, had no idea where it was going. I never guessed Poirot mysteries. Agatha Christie is just really good at twisty-turny endings. Melanie, Frenchie Reader, and I both really enjoyed it. We were talking about it like almost daily on WhatsApp. She did better at that than I did. I kind of fell off the wagon on that because one night I was up all night and I just ended up listening to it the rest of the night because I just needed transporting. I needed an audiobook that would transport me, and this story did that for me for sure. By the way, Melanie and I also filmed and I edited and uploaded a game invented by Ryan Cardinale at Seeking Stories. So I will include that linked down below or up here if you want to meet Melanie. She's such a sweetheart and we had a really good time. She's really smart. She reads a huge variety of books. We have pretty similar tastes. So if you like my channel, you should definitely go check out her channel. Next, I wanted to talk about a K-drama that I've been watching this month. It's called Tale of the Nine-Tailed. I'm not sure why I didn't actually say that. I'm just like obsessed with it. I've never been obsessed with a K-drama before, but this one, the genre mix is perfect. It's got swoony romance. It's got a supernatural mystery that's like, I need to know what happens. It's got so many elements from Korean mythology, and it's kind of like horror-esque, which is something that interests me. Not like slasher horror, but like good versus evil, weird creatures being weird, kind of like fae kind of a feeling, only like Korean style. And guys, it's so good. I have been watching this on Viki. I was watching a different K-drama with Kate Howe and one of my writing partners, and I got distracted by this one because it's so good and so gripping. I'm 10 episodes in and I don't want to do anything all day long except watch it, but I can't. It's like 16 episodes. I don't just have 16 hours to watch K-drama. This one is about the female lead whose parents were kidnapped when she was a young kid. They tried to impersonate her parents, but she found them out because she's a clever little girl. And it was just such a creepy opening, and she gets saved by the nine-tailed fox. And this is not really a spoiler. It's all within like the first 5 or 6 minutes of the first episode. And so she goes on this lifelong journey to find her parents and discover more about the supernatural, because after he rescues her, the nine-tailed fox erases her memory, but she knows there's something weird going on, and I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything. Even in the first episode, the whole like theme of this particular K-drama is that you must be your own salvation, which I know is not very Christian. I'm not really watching this for the Christian elements, in case you were wondering. The cool thing about having that theme, that you must be your own salvation, is that the girl is so cool, so smart. She outthinks everybody all the time. It's so fun to watch. Her whole entire goal in this series is to find her parents. That's her strongest desire. The male lead's goal is actually to find his first love, and I don't want to spoil it any more than that, but there's some supernatural elements that are kind of entwined with his goal. So his plot is a romance plot. Her plot is a mystery plot. It's very strong. And I love how it intertwines. It's so smart. It's very snappy pacing. The dialogue is great. Super creepy. It's like an epic romance, which I didn't know was really a thing, but it's not just focused on the romance, which is the kind of romance I like. I don't like it just to be focused on the romance because then there's too many stupid ups and downs where it's just like a miscommunication plot, and I hate miscommunication plots. I like there to be actual obstacles to the love story, which there are lots of them, and also for there to be other elements that are actually things that they're trying to accomplish, so that they're not just focused on each other, they're focused on so many other things. Oh, and the villains and the secondary characters are so good so far too. And I also like that it's sweet, but it's not raunchy in the same way that, like, I'm sorry, if you like American rom-coms, that's cool. I really don't. I find them very annoying because they're usually oversexed. I loved it. There's just none of that. Nothing awkward or embarrassing. It's just cute and fun. And thank you to Kate and Emma the Bookish Princess for loving K-dramas, because I don't know if I ever would have heard of them if it weren't for those two people. I've been listening to Morning and Evening, which is a podcast about Spurgeon's daily devotional, which he has like a morning and an evening devotional. And this is my first kind of introduction to Spurgeon, and I'm really enjoying it. The podcasts are like 4 minutes each for morning and evening, and sometimes I'm just having trouble focusing on my Bible reading for that day, so I listen to the podcast instead. He's very thoughtful, and it's rich stuff, and that's on Spotify for free if you want to check it out. I've also been working on Mistborn Hero of Ages, and this is another one that I've been kind of reading to relax. I started this as a buddy read with Michael like a couple months ago now. Sorry, Michael. But I got distracted by Rhythm of War, so I'm just now kind of getting back into it. I'm probably about 2/3 of the way through it, and I'm loving it. It's so good. Specifically, it's so rich when you're just sitting and reading it. It's fine on audiobook, like it's okay, but it's so much better when you're sitting and reading it. There's just so many secrets to uncover. There's so many good character arcs in there, and the prose is just so readable. There's so much mystery, and there's things that are set up in book 1 that are just now coming to fruition at the end of book 3, and I remember why I love this trilogy. It's just good storytelling, guys. If you haven't picked up Mistborn yet, please do. I also listened to 2 classics that are kind of interrelated. They're from my library book club. First was Robinson Crusoe, which I enjoyed well enough. There was a lot of things that annoyed me. I thought the main character was super superior all the time, like in his relationships with other people, and he was also alone the rest of the time. So either he was alone, which I find boring, or he was being superior with other people, which I also didn't really like. So the majority of this book I really did enjoy, but there were some portions on the island that I did enjoy. I would have been pretty disappointed if I was actually spending my reading time during the day reading this, but as something that I was just listening to on audiobook while I was dropping off to sleep every night, it was fine. It did the job. The other thing that I'm reading and enjoying a lot more currently, I'm only like halfway through The Swiss Family Robinson. It's a whole little family of like 4 boys and a dad and a mom, and they're just fun. They're fun to read about, their interactions, their adventures. There's lots of animals. There's all kinds of things happening on the island. They're shipwrecked, just like Robinson Crusoe. I didn't even give you guys a plot. See, sorry. So the plot of Robinson Crusoe is he's a young man, he goes off to sea, he wants to be a sailor, he's shipwrecked on an island and spends like a gazillion years there alone. And then for Swiss Family Robinson, it's very similar. They're shipwrecked together as a family, everybody else escapes away from them, and they're stuck. They get to this island that's nearby where their ship was kind of grounded on a rock. I'm loving the adventure. There's so much less condescension in this one. And it still has like references to faith. There's like a lot of characters that reference the Christian faith in these books, which is normally something I enjoy. But with Robinson Crusoe, it was like, you're a jerk. Stop talking about being a Christian. But in the Swiss Family Robinson, there's some good Christian rep, which is something I appreciate. But mostly it's just fun. To be honest, it's just good for sleeping. I'm also working on the Grantchester mystery. Kate Howe, one of her first videos that she did for Cloak and Dagger Christmas was a video recommending mysteries to me, which was just so sweet. Thank you, Kate. I started this, but I was already like reading too many things at once. So I started it that night because I was so excited, and it was perfect to just help me get to sleep that night. I haven't gone farther than that at all yet. So that'll be something to work on next month for me. But I really enjoyed the beginning of it, and I think I'm going to enjoy the style, which is a big thing for me. So thank you, Kate. I really appreciate that. I forgot to mention, I did read Poirot's Christmas for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. I did also start The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky this month, which was probably my most anticipated book of the month, but I only actually got to read it like one night this month. So I only got into like chapter 4. I really want to get to that as soon as I can because it was very gripping. I loved it immediately, right off the bat. I know I'm gonna love it. He just speaks my language. So I can't wait to continue with that. I am going to be doing a read-along with the Codex Cantina and Peg from the History Shelf and Victoria, a musical bookworm. We'll be doing that in February and March, and we will have an announcement video coming up very soon. I did spend a lot of time this month working on my Spanish goals. I'm doing this with Rainey from Rainy Day Reads, who is a delight, and also Victoria, a musical bookworm. Victoria is going to be appearing a lot on this channel in 2021. We're all working on our languages this year. I'm kind of aiming for 9 hours a week. I don't know if I'll be able to keep that up once the read-alongs of 2021 get started. It may be closer to like 7 hours, but we'll see. I have been doing the Duolingo app, which is kind of a good way to find vocabulary words, and they'll have like mini grammar lessons in there, which are nice. It's more like an accountability thing. The best way for me to learn is, at this point, reading and listening and going through my grammar book. I also listen to the Duolingo podcast, which is told partly in Spanish and partly in English, so that you can kind of get your context with the English. It's told pretty slowly and it's like intermediate Spanish, so I can't really follow along very well, but I can pick out words and phrases of the Spanish. Unless somebody is speaking pretty slowly, but it's fun to sit down with the script afterwards and go back over reading it. Also, Michael's Discord read Piranesi this month. It was so fun hearing everybody's reactions to it because I love Piranesi. I can't wait to hear Michael's final thoughts on it. Hurry up, Michael! My January TBR is pretty small. I've worked really hard to keep it that way. I seriously scheduled out my year in 2021 so that I wouldn't overbook myself. I probably won't get to everything, or at least I won't finish everything that I want to do this month, but I'm not putting pressure on myself to do it. These are just things that I would like to do, and we'll see if I can. So first, I will be reading 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'll be reading this with Noah at Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse, who is kind of like organizing this thing, with Una from the Codex Cantina and Danny from Smedley Speaks. So this is gonna be a fun group. Greetings. I wanted to say that we're actually turning it into a read-along, so anybody who wants to join us in reading it, we're gonna have a live show at the end of the month on Noah's channel at Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse. We'll discuss the book there, so if you want to read along for us, that will be the payoff. And we're also gonna have a kickoff live stream, like a read-in live reading sprints on my channel on Saturday, January 2nd, so that's coming up. That will be at, we're thinking 8 p.m. EST, and so that's 5 p.m. PST, so if you want to join us, mark your calendars. That will be my first book by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. My other big focus in January will be reading the Dostoevsky bio, because I want to be very prepared for the Brothers Karamazov read-along. My other thing, I am hoping to read Washington by Ron Chernow. This is the author of the Hamilton bio that inspired the Hamilton musical. Ramsey from Rajathon is doing a presidential read-along in his Discord on his channel, and he's talked about maybe doing a live stream, which would be a big motivator for me. I'm a live stream junkie. I don't know anything about Washington other than some stuff I remember from 4th grade US history. I would love to read this, and the cool thing is, I'm gonna get it on audiobook. So I have hope that I could actually get through this, or at least some of it. You know, I don't have to read the entire thing to be able to talk about it with Ramsey. I can just read as much of it as I possibly can. And one goal that I have for 2021 is definitely to read more nonfiction. I'm excited that he's doing this. He's doing it, I think, all year. He's reading like all the presidents, a bio of all the presidents. So maybe he's doing more than this year. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. He already did 1776 and the Hamilton bio. I didn't get to join him for those, even though it would have been cool because I've already started both of those in the past and just didn't finish them. I also plan to read the next volume or two of One Piece as a relaxation thing, as well as the Grant Chester book, as well as finishing Hero of Ages. Those will be my go-to relaxation reads at night. And, of course, I need to get further in the Brothers Karamazov. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to read the entire book before the read-along starts, which I would have liked to do. But also, it'll be a little fresher this way, maybe, if I'm not reading it like so far ahead of the game. But I definitely want to be like, maybe like reading at least a week ahead of the read-along every step of the way so that I can get the questions ready. So that's really my goal. My focus this month will be the bio rather than the book itself. Okay, and finally, Michael's Discord is going to be reading Rebecca in January. So I'm very excited about that. And I know that Ryan from Seeking Stories has already started this book, so that means he'll probably be along for the ride with us. And I'm hoping that means we'll get a Seeking Stories video on Rebecca. What a treat that would be. I cannot wait to hear everybody's thoughts on Rebecca. And that is it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know down below what you read this month, what you're reading next month, what you're looking forward to in 2021. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, guys. Take care.